A very good morning, everyone. Today we'll be studying the second part of our Unit 5, which is related to farm records. Herein, we will be studying financial farm records, and inside financial farm records, we'll be discussing first kind of financial farm record, that is farm inventory. So, earlier we have discussed what is farm record keeping, what are the benefits and challenges associated with it, what are the physical farm records, and now we will be discussing financial farm records. Okay. So let me take you directly to the financial farm record we will be studying right now. See, financial farm records are of four types. One is farm inventory, balance sheet, income statement, and cash flow statement. We'll be studying them individually in different lectures. What is farm inventory? Farm inventory is simply a list of farm assets that you have on your farm with their value at a particular date, so that if you keep on making it year after year after year, you can see if your inventory is increasing or decreasing. If it is increasing and your farming is of similar type, you are growing same crop over the years and your inventory is increasing, that means your assets are increasing, that means you have more wealth. Okay, that means you're progressing. So let's discuss it now. Farm inventory, it is a list of assets on a farm or of a farm along with value at a specific date. It's simple, it's just a list wherein there are two steps in making this farm inventory. First is the making a list of different types of assets, what is their quantity, that is physical counting or number, and then comes the value. This is a little tricky part. Okay, how the valuation of different assets is being different assets of a farm inventory is done. This is a little typical part. We'll be understanding this right now. There are different methods used for different types of assets. This list here, in this list we will be classifying our assets in different categories. We'll see now. First of all, let's see when we should make a farm inventory. The farmer is thinking, I should be making a farm inventory when I have a lot of free time, and the list, the number of items that I'll be having on a farm should be the minimum, so that if I keep on doing it again and again over the years at the same time over the years, so less number of items and I'll be free, so that I can keep a track of my inventory in a better way. Okay, what is the optimal time according to our conditions? The optimal time end is 31st June and 1st July of every year. Let's say you are going to do it in the start of agriculture year this year, and in 2019, in the next year you will be doing it on 31st June 2020. Okay, so you will be getting to know what is the starting value of your inventory and what is the ending value of inventory, so that if there is any difference, you will be noticing if your assets have increased or decreased. Why this is the optimal timing? Because at this time most of because of our monsoon has already started at this time, and sowing of kharif crops has already been done, be it paddy, be it cotton. Least amount of water is available. Okay, output of previous crops has already been sold, and monsoon is on the set, so therefore irrigation tasks are kind of nil. Water is available every year, it is pouring down. uh, Purchase of inputs is mostly done. The crop is standing right now, and it is just you are waiting for the crop to pick up its growth. Sale and purchase of milch animals is done. In this period, most of the animals are dry, and sale purchase has happened already. Generally, sale purchase happens in March, April. Okay, not in March, April. You can say May and starting of June, because at that point of time, people have cash income out of the sale of their products. Okay, so this time of the year is optimum for our conditions, but it can be different for different regions. Okay, so this is an example of a typical inventory of a hypothetical farm. As we know, we are growing same crops year after year. And if our inventory is increasing, it shows that our business is progressing. Okay, the value in the end we will be having a figure in our hands. I'll be showing you in the next slide that if the inventory is increasing, that means we are having more money in our hands. Okay, so first of all, there was step one was making a list. Herein we categorized the items in three categories: non-depreciable, the value does not reduce with time; depreciation, the value of these assets in this class reduces with time due to wear, tear, damage, and obsolescence; and cash assets, their value does not reduce. Okay, with time. So first we have classified them, made a list, we have classified. Quantity we have noted down, quantity or number. See, and in the start of the year, our quantity and value will be noting down of all these things. Here it will be subtotal for each of the categories, and here will be the grand total for the total inventory. And in the end of the year, we can also do it again on 31st June, which will also serve as the starting for the next year. Okay, so let's see an example. Let's go through the contents first. Non-depreciable items. What are the non-depreciable items on a farm? Crop that we have produced, livestock products that we have produced that are ready for sale, inputs we have purchased or inputs that we have produced using the byproducts of let's say livestock. We have produced FIM, we have produced seeds of different crops. The growing crops, or we can say the standing crops, they also have some value. Okay, because we have invested a lot of money in it, even if it is not giving you yield right now, but its value will be considered equal to the money you have spent on it until the till the date. Marketable livestock, that means it is ready for sale. Depreciable items generally include machinery, implements, tools, farm buildings, whether it be old or new, land, milch animals, draft animals, okay, and their total. Because the value of milch animals and draft animals changes with time. Let's say milch animal, if the calf is a male or a female, the value goes up and down. If there is any kind of injury or disease, these things do reduce the value or increase the value of milch animals. Same is with the draft animals. Disease, injury, or their age, health changes their value. It might appreciate, it might increase, or it might appreciate, it might decrease. Cash assets, that means cash in your hand, in your saving account, that means in your bank account. Shares in cooperatives, it simply means 10 or 20 people come together with some money. Okay, and this money is used for different purposes. It may be used for making the marketing of our produce easy. We can go for selling at distant places because there is a better price. If you are having more produce, we can buy rent a truck, take the produce of everyone and sell it at a far away place where the price is better. We can buy inputs together, and if you buy more quantity of inputs, we can get a better price. Okay, so this is how, if you have invested your money in cooperatives, PACS, this will also be counted in your inventory. The subtotal of it, see, the list is not exhaustive. That means it does not include each and every item. It can vary according to farm needs and the assets present on it. Different types of farms will be having a different inventory sheet. Okay, the number of items will be lesser or more. So right now we have discussed about the quantity. Now we want to know how to get to the value of the different items that are classified on this sheet. Let's just take an example first. There are different items: non-depreciable, crop. In supplies, there are seeds, fertilizer. As you can see, I mentioned the quantity and value in the starting of the agricultural year and in the end of the agricultural year in 2019 and 2020. Okay, DAP, MOP, insecticides, growing crops that are standing right now. This much has been invested in 5 acres of the crop. This much in Bajra, 5 acres, 25,000 has been invested. Marketable livestock is just one. Others, the total is here in the starting of the year and in the ending of the year. Okay. Same again for farm machinery. As you can see in depreciable items, The value of tractor was something in the beginning and lesser in the ending. Same with disc harrow. I have sold the rotavator. Planker value has reduced. Ambiblow value has reduced. Tube well value has reduced. Other hand tools a little decrease in the value. Farm buildings value has reduced, and land the value has increased a little. Okay, due to appreciation in land values, with time the value of land does increase. Cash, earlier I had 18,000, now I have 55,000 in my hand. So let's see, the total in the starting was 2 crore 1 lakh, no, 10 lakhs. Now it is 2 crore 22 lakhs. The gap of 12 lakhs, you can say approximately 12 lakhs, but out of which 10 lakhs came from only the increase in value of land. So see, you can see the change in inventory. The gap is around 12 lakhs. Okay. Now, how did we value different items mentioned in the inventory list? So this is a method, cost minus depreciation. Cost, that is the cost of construction or cost of purchase, or purchase value, minus the depreciation of that thing till date. This method is used for machinery, breeding livestock. Okay, we might have some uh, male buffaloes for which we have kept for breeding, and machinery is tractor, different types of implements. Also it is used for new farm buildings. Okay, for valuing these assets we need to use this method, cost minus depreciation. So cost of production, cost of or purchase price is very easy to know, but depreciation, this new item came in here, how do we value depreciation, we'll be learning later on. Now cost or market price method, whichever is lower out of them, will be used for valuing farm produced inputs, FYM, seeds. I'm taking again and again these examples, so please don't mind. Or the inputs we have purchased from the market, such as seeds, fertilizers, agrochemicals. So why the lower price is being taken? Because let's say we might spend a lot of money in making FYM or in producing seed, but that same FYM is available in the market at a lower price. So we cannot actually consider the cost we have incurred, but we'll have to take this thing, because otherwise we will be overestimating our inventory. At one point we have spent a lot of money, now we are counting it again. So there is no point in counting, overvaluing the inventory. We should have a realistic figure. Net selling price, something we are taking for sale, items that are held for sale, such as livestock and livestock products, crop produce. Selling price, what the price we got minus the cost of selling. It might include transportation, okay, and some kind of commission also, and some kind of wastage also. Replacement cost minus depreciation, this method is used for very old farm buildings. The method, how do we calculate it? The In today's time, what is the amount that will be required to rebuild that old building, minus, let's say the building is 20 years old, and today it will take 10 lakh rupees to make that building. Now over the 20 years, how much it depreciated? So 10 lakh minus the cumulative, that is total till today, cumulative depreciation. This is how we will value a old farm building. This method is replacement cost, that is 10 lakh minus depreciation. Income capitalization method. This method is used for assets that contribute income for a very long period of time. The same land, on the same land, your grandfather, your father, now you are taking income, and it will keep on giving you income for a much longer period of time for the coming generation. So for this type of assets, the value is calculated as value in rupees will be constant income due to land, let's say 25,000 per acre, and rate of interest 10%. Okay, simply this is how we will be valuing our assets. So out of all the valuation methods, there is one typical thing that is still remaining. Still you are not able to get it, that is depreciation. How do we calculate depreciation for different types of assets? We'll be learning later on. Okay. And there is a note here, market price method should be used along with income capitalization method for valuing land. Okay, so it's good we have two methods, whichever it suits to you, you can calculate it. using calculate the value using any of the methods. Now let's practice non-depreciable items. Crop produce held for sale. How we are going to value a crop produce held for sale? It's simple. Cost of production minus depreciation. Am I right? No, I am not. Net selling price is the method. Crop produce held for sale, because there will be some selling price and we will be incurring some cost of selling. Okay, so this is the method that we will be using for it. Inputs that are purchased, market price method. Inputs generated on the farm, again cost or market price, whichever is lower. Growing crops, here we will be taking the cost, only cost that we have invested in it. Marketable livestock, what is the method for marketable livestock? Again net selling price, selling price minus cost of selling. Now depreciable items, machinery and implements. Machinery, let's say if it was purchased by you, purchase price, purchase cost minus cumulative depreciation, that is the depreciation of that machinery till date. This you might have purchased this machinery 5 years ago, 4 years ago. In the last 4 years, how much was the depreciation? Let's say you bought it for 1 lakh and your depreciation till date is 25,000. Its value today is 75,000. Okay. Old farm buildings, the method is replacement cost minus depreciation. The money it will take today to make it again minus depreciation over the years. New farm building, again cost of construction minus cumulative depreciation. Milch animals, there is a different method for this, but generally we take net selling price. Or there is a different method for it also. Wait a second please. There is another method for milch animals or draft animals. Value at beginning of the year minus value at end. Sorry, no, this is not the method. Actually, I missed something. No. For milch animals, this the what I mentioned was the method of calculating depreciation. For milch animals, again, net selling price is the method we will be using. For land, income capitalization or market price method. Cash saving deposit share, their actual value will be taken. There is not much of a, these are not much of a headache. Okay, just take the actual values. Now what is depreciation? We have gone through what is inventory. It is a list where we make categories. And how do we calculate the quantity? We go for the value. There are different methods, but one thing still remains unanswered in these methods, that is what is depreciation and how it is calculated. So there are different methods for calculation of depreciation, but the choice depends upon how we are using that resource. Let's say if there is a tractor and our cropping pattern is same, we are using the tractor in our field only, so and for at the same rate again and again. So there are different methods for that, and if we are using a machinery at different rates, sometimes more, sometimes less, then we are supposed to use a different method. As you know, depreciation is reduction in money value of a resource or an asset due to wear, tear, use, accidental damage and obsolescence. Obsolescence means that technology has gone obsolete. First method and simplest method is annual revaluation method. This is also used for livestock. Value at the end of the year minus value at the beginning of the year, and it is very fairly simple. Straight line method, when the resources are being used at a constant rate and the annual rate of not rate of depreciation, the value of annual depreciation amount is same. Straight line method, its purchase value, let's say you purchase a tractor for 5 lakh, its junk value or salvage value, that means if you take it to a junkyard, you will be getting 45,000 rupees at the end of its life. Okay, let's say it's 50,000, sorry. Number of useful years, 10 years of life, so 45, 4,50,000 divided by 10, 45,000 is the annual depreciation. The value of tractor will keep on reducing 45,000 every single year. Okay, so at the end of first year, its value will be 4,45,000. At the second year, it will be no, 4,55,000. At the second year, it will be 4,10,000. At the end of the second year, this is how its value will keep on reducing. Diminishing balance method and sum of years digits method. These two are a little typical, so we'll be understanding them one by one with examples. In the diminishing balance method, there is one specific thing: same annual percentage rate of depreciation. Okay, percentage depreciation, that means let's say the value of an asset will keep on reducing by same percentage, but the value, that the money value of depreciation will keep on reducing. You'll see how. Fixed percentage, I said 10% depreciation throughout the life, every year 10% depreciation, but the annual depreciation, amount of annual depreciation is calculated. How it is calculated? Remaining balance into rate of depreciation, that is 10%, or it can be anything. Remaining balance, what is this remaining balance? It is the cost at which we purchased it minus cumulative annual depreciation, that is the annual depreciation till now. Okay, so the cost remains constant. Cumulative annual depreciation, it will keep on increasing gradually because depreciation amount will keep on adding, so remaining balance will also keep on reducing gradually. Okay, this reduces, this keeps the same, so annual depreciation will reduce annually, as I said in the earlier slide. There is an example right now. Value at the beginning of the life of the asset. Let's say we purchased an asset for 24,000 rupees. As I said, annual depreciation is 20% throughout the life. 20% it will take. Then the life should be 5 years. Okay. Value at the end of the first year. What will be the value at the end of the first year? The value will be the value in the starting minus the depreciation that year. Depreciation that year will be remaining balance. Remaining balance is calculated by cost, that is 24,000, minus cumulative annual depreciation. Cumulative annual depreciation is depreciation till date, and that is calculated by 24,000 into 20 by 100. Alright, 240 into 20, it comes out to be 4,800. This is the amount of depreciation for the first year. So value at the end will be 24,000 minus 4,800. This is 19,200. So value at the end of first year will be equal to the value of asset at the beginning of the second year. Same thing, it's just a 1 day gap. Okay, in the second year depreciation is 19,200 into 20 by 100. Next year depreciation will be 15,360 into 20 by 100. Next year it will be 12288 into 20 by 100. Just keep on reducing this value from whatever comes here. It will give you this. Again, this 15,360 goes here. You calculate the depreciation, and this is equal to this. Again, reduce it from this value. You will get 12,288. It's a fairly simple method. It is very easy. So, you just take a note out of it and practice, and you will get the maths properly. Alright, just remember, annual rate of depreciation is same and rate is same, the value of depreciation will reduce. And how to calculate that value, that's all. How to calculate? Starting balance into 20% the rate. Okay, this will be the total amount of depreciation of that machinery in that year, and subtract it from that, subtract it from the starting value, you will be getting the ending value, which will be the value for the beginning of the next year. Okay, sum of years digits method. Just look at the, just read the sentence again. Sum of years digits method. Let's say the life of an asset is 10 years. Sum of years digits method, 1 2 plus 3 plus 4 go up to 10. If you're going to sum them up, it will come up to 55. This 55 will be used in this method. Okay, the total amount of depreciation in this method, annual depreciation in this method, is calculated by cost, that is the purchase price, minus salvage value, or you can say the junk value at the end of the life. These things will always remain constant. Okay, plus the years of life remaining at the beginning of the counting period. Let's say you want to calculate how much of depreciation will be happening in my machinery in the first year of its life. So in the beginning of first year, the life of the life of asset is for the 10 years. In the beginning, how many years are remaining? 10 years are remaining in the beginning of first year. Okay, sum of years of life of the asset, that is 55. Understood? So this value remains the same over the years. This value will keep on reducing over the years. In the first year it will be 10, in the second year it will be 9, in the third year it will be 8, in the fourth year it will be 7. This value will remain the same. So what is going to happen? This fraction is going to reduce. If you are going to multiply a constant with a reducing fraction, the annual depreciation amount will reduce as the time passes. Let's go for an example now. 24,000 value at the beginning and junk value is 4,000. Useful life is 10 years. Okay, so this cost minus junk value, always same. Even in the 10th year it is same. Okay, so in the annual depreciation in the first year will be years of life remaining in the first year 10 by the sum of years digits, 10 by 55. In the next year we will be multiplying by 9 by 55, next year 8 by 55, next year 7 by 55. In the end last year you will be multiplying it by 1 by 55. Okay, so value at the beginning minus annual depreciation would be equal to 20,363, and as you will be seeing, this value of annual depreciation is reducing with time. Okay, this was the example for sum of years digits method. If we compare we have taken the same example for all the different methods, same example, that means same value. The cost was 24,000, useful life was 10 years, junk value was 4,000. Okay, in the straight line method, annual depreciation amount is same. In the can say diminishing balance method, see how it is reducing. And also in the sum of the years digits method, the amount of depreciation reduces. Generally this method is being used because it is very easy to calculate, and otherwise these methods are a little typical. That's why these are not preferred much. Thank you. This was all about the second part of your unit 5th. The other financial statements we will be discussing in the upcoming lectures. You can go for the suggested reading if you want to know more about the topic.